You're listening to Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast with your hosts, Ash Ellis and Greg Tomlinson.
Hey Ash, how's it going?
Very well, Greg. How are you? How are you
Happy
this
New
evening?
Year. Although,
Happy New
yeah,
Year. A
Yeah.
week, 2 weeks late.
2 weeks late. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still the New Year, so it's no probs.
At what point, though, does it become not New Year?
February 8th. Facts, that's true as well.
So, since the first of this year, we've just dropped the episode of Michael Selig. And we've had lots of comments already, and it got released today at the time of this recording.
Yeah, midnight this morning. Yes.
And loads of people can't get their head around all the lot of what he's saying. I literally had somebody send me a screen grab of them listening to it, as they do every week. Hello, John. And just with the mind blown emojis all the way across. So
Nice.
that was just sent to me just before we came on air, so I haven't had a chance to reply to him yet. But yeah, a few people.
It's a crazy conversation. And if you're not listening to it, after this one, go back and listen to last week's episode. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And the things we talk about, former fighter pilot in the US Marines, tells all about the aliens are coming.
Mhm.
So go check that out. Tonight, though, we've got some guests. So just before Christmas, we had our UFO UAP roundup of 2025. And now we've got a couple of paranormal guests joining us this week. And we're going to sort of recap 2025 and sort of look ahead to what's coming the rest of this year in 2026. So joining us tonight, we have from the Paranormal or What podcast, it's the lovely Michaela Ford. And from To Investigate, we have Sarah. Welcome both. How are you all doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
Joining
both.
us. You've both been guests quite a few times before. So, yeah, welcome back to the podcast.
It's lovely to be back.
It is indeed, eh? Been a while since we've had a lot of people on as well.
Yeah. It's
It's just been you and Greg the last couple of times, hasn't it?
Yeah. Me and Sarah took over for a couple of episodes last year.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's it. I feel like it's the last time I think we did a big podcast with a few of us was when we were all the girls with the rest of the Twinny gang. And Ash, I don't even know if you were there, Greg. Oh, were
I
you?
wasn't last
Yeah,
time.
just me.
No, it's just Ash.
Just me and the girls. Yeah.
It was indeed, eh?
We don't talk
Don't know
about
where
those
you
times,
were,
though.
Greg.
I won't know exactly where I was.
No,
I was in the dark
He's not
somewhere.
going to tell.
missing out. No, I don't
Yeah,
think it was that
absolutely.
far back. No, it can't have been that far
Into
back.
2023? 24,
No,
sorry?
I thought it was 24.
It was
Oh.
about 18 months ago, that was.
Can't believe it's been that long.
Mm.
Well,
That's crazy.
how time flies.
So 2026 is now here. 2025 was a big year for us, definitely. Lots of stuff going on, and we'll cover some of that stuff. But I guess, Michaela, how was your 2025? Any particularly memorable moments that happened to you or your podcast this year?
Well, do you know, I didn't think there were until I got my Spotify update. So if any of you are on Spotify, you get this little update at the end of the year. And I was rather happy, actually, at the end of it. It said that my listenership had gone up 559% and that I had something like 223% more subscribers and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, wow, I had no idea. So that really cheered me up. That made me very happy because it was a bit up and down. I've had a lot of kind of health bits and bobs going on. So there were times when I haven't been doing the podcast for a few weeks or a few months, and then I'd kind of burst back in and then go back out again. So I didn't know how it was going to go, but it turns out it was a really good year for my podcast. So thank you to everybody who listens. So yeah, obviously Festival of the Unexplained was a big thing for me because due to the aforementioned shenanigans, I didn't get very far last year in visiting conferences, but I really enjoyed that weekend and seeing all of you lot. Well, except for Ash, we missed you, Ash.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Realised that
Despite all the peer pressure.
I know. I
There
realised
was a
that
lot
I
of peer
hadn't.
pressure.
There was. I hadn't
You'll have to
even
come.
met Greg in person before, which I didn't even realise at the time.
That's
My
mad.
idea, I was like, "You sure?"
Blows my mind that you haven't met in person, because I feel like, because obviously you knew each other way before we knew each other, and me and Michaela, we've met loads of times really,
Yeah,
or it feels like it, and then to find out you've not
really
met Greg, I
bizarre.
was like, what?
So yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
was a
that
good
that
thing.
was a really cool weekend as well.
You'll have to come to it again, Ash, if she does it again.
Yeah, definitely. Or whatever party we have in its stead this year. There will
Yeah.
be something, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there'll be more events this year. New events as well, probably.
And it was very exciting that right at the end of the year, we started something up called the Supernatural Sisterhood,
Yes.
which we haven't actually. There's been a bit of a hiatus, but I'm sure we'll be getting on that wagon again very soon. Which was basically there's been a lot of negativity in the paranormal over the last few years, and it's basically trying to combat that and trying to empower women who have been sort of picked on and belittled by people, saying that women shouldn't be in the paranormal, and for anybody who's had negative comments, because sadly it's not just women that have had negativity thrown at them. So it's just been something to start that's really positive, and Sarah's a big part of that as well, and I know you two guys will be as well. So that's all to look forward to next year.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a big charge with that hopefully this year. That'll be a good run for us to spread that positivity about ladies of the paranormal, and some men as well, because they struggle as well. But
Yeah.
So I want to add to Michaela's year. One of the things that was one of my standout moments for Michaela this year. It was this year, wasn't it? The ASAP.
Oh yes. Yeah.
The ASAP festival. You want to just quickly talk about that?
Yeah. So I knew about the existence of ASAP, and the year before, myself and Ash had been asked to speak at the conference, but Ash couldn't do it. So he put together lots of information about UFO sightings in the UK, and I presented it for him, and it all went very well, and everybody was very happy. And so they asked us back last year to do some of their online conferences. And so both Ash and I did separate presentations. I have to say, I've never been as scared in my life. Bearing in mind, I've been a professional actress for a very, very long time, but there's nothing like saying your own words to make you actually poop your pants. And it was about a subject. The more I delved into this subject, the more technical and scientific it got, and I wasn't actually sure if I had the wherewithal to pull it off, but somehow I seemed to. It was about missing objects and the possible scientific explanations behind it, or paranormal explanations. And that was amazing. And Ash's was fabulous. And we've both been invited back again. So that is a very exciting thing for next year as well.
It was great. And out of the four of us, there's also someone else that gave an ASAP online webinar this year.
Woo!
Yeah. I talked
Greg.
about poltergeist. So, yeah. So that was really good. That was
You
off the
did
back
really
of
well.
Parameet. That was off the back of Parameet.
Oh,
Caroline
Yeah, it
come up to
was.
me and said, Ash recommended me, and did want to talk. So yeah, it was really good fun. It was really good fun, but daunting
yeah, it
because
is daunting.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot of
feel like
people,
there's a lot of
names.
subject matter experts.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
very.
very clever people listen to that.
Although one guy was driving the tractor, I think. So it's
Yeah, he did that a few times, didn't he? Though we've watched a few of the
He did.
that
he did.
presentations,
Yeah.
and there's always something in the fact.
Maybe it's Jeremy Clarkson.
It might have been. So that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, I think I've quite got the bug with this now. Having now done two, I'm thinking, ooh, I'd love to speak at some other conferences now. It's quite an exciting thing to do because it means the thing I like about it, being quite a socially awkward person myself, I was actually only 3 months ago, I think, diagnosed with ADHD, and it's been a suspicion of mine for years and years and years. And I kind of chummed along my son because he's in the process of being diagnosed as well. And I went, oh, hang on, I do that. So funnily enough, I got my diagnosis before him. But I've always been quite socially awkward, and either I say nothing or I say too much. I find it very hard to gauge what to do in social situations. It's really difficult. And I think actually it's done my confidence a lot of good to think, because I can persuade myself quite a lot of the time that people don't want to listen to me. It's one of my kind of self-confidence things, which is probably why I started the podcast during lockdown, to make people listen to me. So it's actually been really cathartic doing the things at conferences, because when people sit there and they nod and they kind of join in, and then afterwards they go, oh, I really enjoyed that, you think, oh, well, maybe I have got something to say. I don't know if anybody else feels like that.
Oh,
When I spoke at Bufog, the Birmingham UFO group, and I brought the book along, and we had a break halfway through, and I brought like 10 copies of my book along, and literally on the break, I had a queue of people literally to come to where I sat to buy my book, and I sold out like straight away with 10 books. I was like, it must have been interesting if everyone wants to suddenly buy my book. So I was like, yeah, that's
Well,
it's mad. When you think, actually, this went well. Actually, when you think about it,
yeah,
afterwards.
that sounds amazing. Imagine that. We don't get that kind of
I
reception.
wish I bought more. I left a load of money.
Next time,
what
bring
about
a
you,
truck.
Sarah?
I know.
You spoke at a few
Talk-wise,
last year as well.
yeah, spoke at we have done I can't even think of the ones we've done now. The biggest one that I remember, obviously, because it was like one of the last ones. We did Parachat and we did Festival, and Spook and Spirit Fest, and
I'm Bufog.
Bufog. That was last
Was that-
year, not last year, the year before.
Was
I think that was 2023. No, maybe. That must have been 23.
2024 it was. 23,
Oh,
yeah,
was it
at the
2020?
end.
It's 23 at the end of 23. Yeah, I know exactly.
No,
Yes,
it's
that's
20.
I literally thought that was
That's
this
how I
year.
felt about the podcast when we all did it with the girls. I was like, God, that can't have been that long ago. But I've done the talks in a different. So we've done. We don't. The reception that we get, obviously, I say understandably, it's not understandably, but we find it very difficult to find our place in certain groups. And they find it very difficult to accept our place in certain groups. And we did one talk with twinnies that was very psychology based about pink and the colour theory that we have about pink and how it either changes our perception or our reception, and how it sort of, we don't get taken seriously and all of that. Anyway, that one didn't go down amazing because we were subsequently left off a review of the whole weekend. You know, Michaela, it's all been squashed and sorted now, but it just goes to show you that we don't, even when we do our serious discussions, just the fact that we wear pink, it just completely goes over people's heads, and they just don't take it in. So the next talk that we did was just about us and our captures and how we have fun. And we didn't really do anything scientific. We just said, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we've captured, make of it what you will. And it went down so well. And we grew quite a bit off the back of that kind of talk. But I feel that I love that stuff. I love being in Twinnies, and I love the pink, and love being different and fun and bubbly, because I am fun and bubbly and different. And that is my personality, but there's so much more in my brain. And like, I like to think deeply about things. I love psychology, and I love the science behind things. So we did a talk as Boo as well as Beyond Our Ordinary on our theory that we've got. And I love stuff like that, but I just, in the pink, it would never go down. But in our normal clothes, it went down okay. But I struggled to find that line, because I am two different people in one, really. The brain doesn't match the clothes, and the clothes don't match the brain as such. Does that make sense? Like, there's just a very blurred line to me. So the talk go down a bit hit and miss depending on which personality I'm showing.
Do you know what really just brought something to mind? When I was younger, I was, and I still am, I guess. I just read so much. I think I kind of wore myself out. I was mad on Marilyn Monroe. I was really interested in her as a person. Now, she had an IQ that was higher than Albert Einstein's. And they were together at a dinner one night. And I don't know if this is just, you know, an apocryphal story or if it's true. But she was talking to Albert Einstein. And she said, you know, with my looks and your brains, we could have awesome babies. And he said, no, with my looks and your brains, we could have awesome babies. And what I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'd love to know the reason why I dye my hair crazy colours. I think it's just because I want to be seen, and I almost kind of want to piss society off. I'm a middle-aged woman, I'm a teacher, and I've got pink hair, and people sometimes just can't cope with it at all, because I don't fit into the box that, you know, I'm meant to be a serious teacher. Why have I got pink hair? So I think that I think you should try again with the pink. Don't split yourself in two. Just be yourself. Be who you are. Don't be two people. You know, screw everybody else. And the more, you know, you've got a lot to say. You've got intelligent things to say. That will win over the pink thing. Because it does for me quite a lot of the time. Once people realise that you've got things that matter to say, they kind of see beyond the pink. So I would really say try not to let it worry you, even though it's really annoying.
Yeah, I think we're like 2 years, no, not no, nearly 3 years in now, and we're still working out where exactly we need to be placing ourselves, and not to try and find a place, but there's so much we want to do with it that it's very hard to find a place, because we are in some form entertainers, but we are also investigators, and we like doing talks. I love the psychology. Emma loves like the live streaming as well. And it's like, it's just very difficult to find that, because no one really does it. But I think it sets people a bit of sense of unease, that with these sort of girls in bright pink jumping around and bopping about in a haunted location that has always been seen. Paranormal investigation has always been quite a serious subject, quite a scientific approached thing, if that makes sense. And we've come in and just set people's nerves on edge a little bit, like, what is this mix of, what are you doing? You don't belong. And I think no one's really seen it before, and it's just rocked the boat a little bit, and it's very hard to place ourselves, because we're figuring out what we want to do. We'll never lose the pink. We'll always be hot pink. But it's working out where we're going to place ourselves, what works for us, and we're in a bit of a tricky time with that, really. But
Don't apologise for yourselves.
no, it is interesting though. I do think the pink does play a large part of it, but I think it's because it changes us when we wear the pink. But yeah, that was nice. She was like, "Don't explain, you just do you." And everyone says, "You just do you. Just we love you, girls. Just do you. Wear the pink, do whatever." But it's very difficult when you care so much about your audience, because your audience, we make no secret of the fact that we want to grow. So the people that are going to help us grow are our audience. So we care about what they think because they will help or hinder us. So it's very tricky to not care.
Greg, what's your highlights of 2025? Yeah, we've all given lots of talks as well last year.
Yeah, we did. And it's something that me and you, it was the first, and me and Sarah had done. We done our first talks together. Me and Ash done our first talk together, although we do things separately. And that's one of the bits that I've also enjoyed last year, was the fact that when me and Ash work on the podcast, we go and do our separate things, come back together, do things together, and then we do separate things. Because of the distance, plays a big part, because we're like 2.5, 3 hours away from each other. So we've had to do it. But our talk at Parachat, I absolutely loved doing that. It's the first time me and you had done a talk together. And like you said, Michaela, when people start interacting with you during the talks, and then you get sort of feedback. On the podcast, you don't really get feedback until Spotify Wrapped or somebody sends you a message. You get no feedback whatsoever on, is the episode good, bad, indifferent? So it's been great to do those. And then so the whole of last year was just a whirlwind of growth, I think. We started Beyond Our Ordinary, me and Sarah. Me and Ash started doing live streaming on TikTok. And during the last year, we've massively grown on TikTok. For us, we're massively grown. The podcast has grown. We're doing talks both together separately, and then me and Sarah are doing the Beyond Our Ordinary stuff together, which has massively grown and started off as one thing right at the beginning of the year, and then ended the year, and we're doing talks about our theories on sort of the paranormal and the communication with loved ones and how we can strengthen that, and doing experiments that we ran a workshop at Spooks and Spirits Fest that Ash was involved in. We've got our devices out there. The podcast is, people talk about podcasts. We're getting approached all the time by people wanting to come on a podcast with different stuff. So this Michael Selig one that we launched last week was a subject I don't think we've ever spoken about. We've been on the fringe of the conversations with other guests about off-planet bases and stuff like this, but this was a whole nother thing. And somebody so highly decorated in the military during Desert Storm and as a fighter pilot. So the year started one thing, and it's kind of ended where we're in a stronger but different position to where I thought we were at the start of the year, in a good way. We're doing talks. I talked at festival, which is something I'd never thought was going to happen. And then that's led on to 2 further talks last year with Sarah and with Ash. So it's just been a phenomenal year, I think, really, for all of us. And I got to meet you, Michaela, so that was another highlight of the year.
And our devices
I
as
can't
well.
believe
Our Boo device is another highlight, is that they're in the hands of some of the biggest names on social media as well, which is like a little achievement, because you don't, I think, just selling them to those people that are out there who are giving us exposure, it is exciting. It's really like, it's a little achievement, really. So I was really proud of that. That's one of the big boo moments. But yeah.
No, that was, and it's mad to say. I even had my daughter say, and she's like 20, and she said that she'd seen this particular social media star who's not paranormal. Well, he is, but he isn't. Using the device, and she's like, I can't believe he's got one. I said, yep. So
Our device in the
just been
wild.
devices in the wild picked up by non-paranormal people. So that's been mad in itself. And then we're now, like, some of the stuff that we've been doing with Boo is allowing us to go to other locations that we might not have done before. Like me and Ash, we like some of our TikTok stuff, and I mean that's all changed since we first started with people gifting and all this kind of stuff. Certainly during the middle of part of the year, that allowed us to then pay for locations to do more live streams from those locations. So to have that kind of, I don't know, see all the hard work that everybody's been putting in, because I know podcasting is not an easy thing to do. Live streaming definitely is not an easy thing to do. And we started that live stream journey off when I come up and stayed at Sarah's following my operations. And then we started going out, and then we're going up and down the country. And Ash is going out in Manchester. I'm down in Oxfordshire doing live streaming. Then Sarah's coming up and down, and we're doing live streams all over the place and meeting up, going to all these crazy places like Delamere Forest. We've had some like insane live streams from Delamere, both as a group of us, Lee, and as pairs. And
I mean,
I couldn't have imagined how the live streaming sort of took over a lot of it. And whilst it did die down sort of over the last month or so, just Christmas and cold weather, we've got, so me and Sarah got 2 things booked in for this weekend. Whenever this goes out, it might have been last weekend. The joys of podcasting and continuity. Then Ash, Sarah, me, and Emma are going to 30 East Drive at the end of January and doing like a live stream video in and whatnot there for the night. So it's just, and that's just in the first month of the year. And we found an amazing new location down south. We've got loads of, and because we live stream so much and have been, it's forced us to find new places of interest. And I've learned so much about the paranormal, about UFOs, about burial grounds, about
long barrows.
what a long barrow is. I never knew what a long barrow was until I visited one, and I found out what it was. And it's fascinating. And there's these long barrows all over the place, especially down where I am in Oxfordshire and Wiltshire sort of area. And I'm like, who even knew what they were until we started live streaming? I've learned loads of history about, we went to a church the other week, me and Sarah, and it turns out that one of the saints, it was the people that carried this saint across Oxfordshire, they were actually buried, allegedly buried underneath this particular church. And we managed to get in the church after being prompted by Ash and others. And the door opened at like nearly midnight, and we were in this church, 13th century artwork all over this church. It's like, if at the beginning of last year, and I don't know about the rest of you guys, but at the beginning of last year, if I said, this is what's going to happen to you this year on your paranormal UAP journey, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. And they'd be like, what?
We have seen some mad places this year, and I think even for us, our live stream journey, as people call it, we never really live streamed like we do now. And the first half of last year was huge for like finding these locations. we've seen, like, we've gone to the Roman villa, we found these abandoned villages, these churches that are like half a mile off the road. The Long Barrow was about half a mile walk into nothing just to get to that. And it was one of the most amazing places, one of the most like sacred, spiritual, creepy places.
I really want to come up to Delamere Forest. I've been promising and then never got round to it. We really need to make proper arrangements this year. Now,
Wow.
Ash, and I want to come and see your basement before you move out.
It's still there.
We
It's,
need to get things in the
yeah.
diary. This is the year of the diary. It's got to happen.
Yeah, we were saying we've got to have a basement visit before you move out. We need to. It's been a long time since we last went.
Definitely. After this, we need to all send our available dates, and we'll pick a weekend, and we'll say, right, we're going to come up. Michaela's going to bring a sleeping bag. We're going to go to Delamere Forest, and we're going to do Ash's basement.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Definitely.
Good.
So while you were just talking about your basement, Ash, what about your year in review? I know I spoke a bit about our podcast bits, but what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, the talks and TikTok stuff, obviously, you mentioned it all. I won't go over that too much. But I mean, TikTok, this time last year, we sort of said we're going to hit TikTok hard because we've not really used it. 2025, we're going to sort of go hard on TikTok. We're posting every day and stuff. And what we sort of wanted to happen happened. We've seen massive growth on there. We started doing the lives, which was just crazy. Like I said, the last couple of months it has slowed down. I've been waiting for it just to stop raining. It's been raining for about 2 months in a row in Manchester. So I've not been out personally, but sort of plans 2026 would be definitely more TikTok. I've got some really good ideas I've got for TikTok lives for slightly different things that you can do from the house and stuff rather than having to go out. So I'll be doing them over the next few weeks and stuff. But aside from the talks and that, which are always good, we've got a few lined up for 26 as well. Doing more TV stuff is always interesting. Went out with Danny Moss and Harry and Dan on the Paranormal Paranormal road trip. My haunted road trip. My God, I can't even think what it's called. My haunted road trip in Cannock Chase. Cannock Chase is one of my favourite places ever to go. When he asked me to come along to that, I was like, I'm 100% going to Cannock Chase to do an investigation with my haunted project guys. That was really great. That was it. Yeah, just doing more talks, doing the TikTok stuff, and doing some more TV stuff. So I like seeing the behind the scenes stuff and having good chats with like sort of learning from people like Danny and stuff who have good production stuff and learning from there. Then we then put that stuff into my own or into the podcast stuff as well. This behind the scenes stuff is also interesting to see. So I like doing the more TV based stuff. Yeah, and that's it. And then I think that's pretty much covered everything. Going to new venues. Priest Cottage has become probably my favourite place to go. So far, it only opened up in like June or something. We were one of the first people to go and investigate it, Greg and I. And I've been 4 or 5 times this year, just because I love the place. We've had stuff happen every single time. Mad stuff happen. We've captured some amazing evidence there. And I've even been looking. I got an offer in January. I was like, just got £50 for all night. I think I'm just tempted just to go on my own if you have to and just spend the night there on my own one day this month. With being that cheap, £60 to private hire for the whole night is just insane. Insane value for money, stuff like that. And yeah, so I guess that was 2025. So if we look ahead to 2026, so we're going to do a little thing where we sort of say one thing we'd like to see the back of in 2026 and one thing we'd like to see all happen for us or the paranormal as a whole, sort of that you would like to see happen in the paranormal world or for you personally. Who shall we start with? Who has something ready, I guess? Maybe let's start with something you'd like to see the back of in the paranormal. Anybody want to start? Or I can start.
Go on.
So my one, and having now watched a lot of TikTok lives, just to kind of learn from other people, ones that are doing good, see what other people do well, see what we don't like what other people are doing, to sort of try and develop our own TikTok lives. And may or may not agree with this one, but one thing I don't like seeing, or I personally think I just don't like it, is the apps. It seems that everyone seems to have Spirit Talker, Necrophonic, and the worst one for me, I hate it, and you disagree with me, but the Ghost Spirit, what's it called?
Spirit
DLS,
Talker. No.
XLS, XLS,
SLS.
SLS,
Yeah.
that's the one. I hate that thing. I hate it. And I also hate the fact they charge so much for it when it's literally just an Xbox Connect and a tablet attached to it and a rig.
Yeah.
I hate that app. And at least if I see someone using it, I'm scrolling off it. I hate it. So yeah, apps. Because I think especially things like Spirit Talker, Necrophonic. It's just and the fact that everyone
Yeah.
uses it, and it's like they're standing behind you and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and comes through and
It's a bit gimmicky, isn't it?
yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, you want to do it for entertainment.
Yeah,
Have
I
some
was
fun
just
with
gonna
it.
say, I
Totally
think
fine.
it depends for me what context it's in, because you have the crowd of
Yeah.
people that don't actually know what paranormal investigation is. They just want to be scared, and so those kind of acts, I'm not against them for entertainment purposes, but I wouldn't use them to guide and solely guide an investigation. Like absolutely not. I wouldn't. I would use them, but just purely for the entertainment side, because that's what you do on a live stream. You have to keep people engaged and watching, but not like for a serious investigation. However, that being said, when we went with said person who is no longer in our friendship circle to an event, not an event, to a private hire at House That Cries. And we were using one of our word bank devices, and obviously it wasn't long since Mum died, and it came through Emma and Sarah on our device, on the Boo device, and then immediately after on the Spirit Talker, Mum. And we were like, but obviously we're piecing that together because of the situation we're in. But I was like, for that, some things do come through that tally up really. Interesting, like Larry. We got Larry through on the app and the phone. On the app and the device at the same time at Keithley Underground Streets, and that's never happened before. And I know there's an element of a device listening. Your phone could have listened, but when does that happen, really? So, it was interesting. So I do agree it's got to be used with a pinch of salt and not solely on its own. It can have some interesting results, but it's purely entertainment, really, isn't it? To engage someone to watching it.
I think because with the SLS and stuff as well, because I think it's also why things like cat balls are quite popular, because they give results.
Visuals.
So you can always read off it. Yeah. So you got like with the SLS, there's a person stood. There's a figure stood there or whatever. It's like, no, it's just a chair that you're putting at. But it gives it instant results and it gives positive results. So the cat ball's moving, or I've got this word coming through, or I've got a figure that's coming through in the SLS. It's something like, say, visual that's there. So it looks like something has happened. Whereas the countless hours you spend where nothing happens obviously doesn't make for TikTok live entertainment, because people want to see something happening. And so that's sort of why I get why people go to them, because they know they're going to get something from it, regardless of whether you just know something's going to happen when you use them devices, them apps or those programs, which is, I think, the reason why a lot of people do like them. But when you just like scroll through 10 lives in a row and they've all got the Spirit Talker open, or something that's like
Spirit Talker on their iPad stationary in front of the camera, and then the camera's just to a blank room with a REM pod and a REM bear and a cat ball, and that doesn't engage me. You want faces and movement, and you need to constantly be, when you're on a live, I think you do need to move that camera to your face, to other faces, and not like quickly swishing, but you need to change it. It's like the scene changes in our YouTube videos. Change the angle, even if it's the same scene, because your attention span can't focus on one thing for very long, but it'll focus on the same event if you're changing the angles. So it's like that with a live stream, but just, it's boring just to watch a room. So yeah, I agree with the whole. I wanted to see the back of those kind of lodge.
Who's next for what you want to leave behind in the paranormal?
I'll go. This may be a bit controversial, but oh, sorry, the frog in my throat has leapt up in that time. So, I would like to see less of people being mean to each other. I think in the paranormal there are so many diverse opinions, and people need to have a bit more of a live and let live attitude, and not jump down other people's throats because they don't believe exactly the same thing. And also, what I'm getting on my soapbox now. While we're on it, nothing's definite, nothing's definitive. That not much has been proven about the paranormal or life after death. So I really want people to stop stating things as if they're fact and then getting angry with other people for not believing it. No, it's like this. I know because I saw this, and I know for a fact that ghosts are blah, 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 blah. Nobody knows anything for a fact. It's all open to interpretation. And I think people just need to chill out a bit, really.
Yeah.
And also, one thing I really disagree with is people hawking their political opinions on their paranormal channel. That really gets my giddy goat, shall we say. And I think, if you've got political opinions, great, but put it on a different, Facebook page to the one where you do your paranormal stuff. I've had to shall we say, thin out some of the people I'm friends with on Facebook.
I think I know one particular thing you might be talking about.
Um, because I just thought I can't concentrate on the paranormal with this person because all I can hear is their political opinions, which are very different to mine, and that's fair enough. But I just really wanted to talk about the paranormal. So, yeah, everybody just stop being horrible to each other and stick to the subject instead of trying to change everyone's minds about your politics.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
I think.
Anyone else?
Yeah, well, I think of the one thing I would not see the back of, but would like to see change or not happen is more diversity in these events, more diverse speakers. You tend to see the same events, and don't get me wrong, I love all the events, I go to them all, and offer all the events. But I want to see a bit more diversity. I want to see the back of this kind of like same lineup every year of the same speakers, because you need to get to know the new names or the people that are a little bit different, who are a bit niche. And at festival this year, there was a guy called Emrys, and he was really interesting. He's never, as we know, we were all there, weren't we? But he was really interesting, and I thought he's new and different, and like that's something that people would love to hear. And instead we get the normal, I'm not pointing any fingers, naming any names, but it's always the same mediums, the same psychologists, the same historians, and they're great, but it's all the same. It's nothing new, and I'd like to see a bit more diversity. I am a bit tired of the same lineups to everything all the time. There's a new event going on from that a small team are running, and the same speakers are popping up, and it's great, but I just want to see a bit more diversity within the paranormal, really, to be honest.
Well, I wonder if Emrys is listening, because I have bugged and bugged and bugged that young man to come on my podcast. And he said he would, and then he's gone quiet. Like,
We'll
come on,
manifest
Emrys,
him.
what have you on? I know. I'm going to start bugging him again.
Come on, Emrys.
Watch out, Emrys. I'm coming. I'm going to bug you till you come on
Tell
again.
you what, we'll have to say, Emrys, if you're listening to this, you have to inbox us with the word banana, and then we'll know that you've listened. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see the back of, is the same speakers all the time. I love them, but throw us a new bone. Like, it'd be interesting just to hear someone else.
Definitely. Over to you, Greg.
Such a long list. Such a long list. But the main one
is.
for me, I think, and it sort of echoes what Michaela said about, I think just letting everybody do their own thing, even if you don't agree with it. And I'm guilty of this. Offline, I'll speak to Sarah and I'll like, you seen this? Why are they doing this? And I think to myself, oh my God, what am I like? There are channels, people that, like, as a group, we probably you wouldn't interact with certain people just in your daily life. So why do I get mad? And I say mad in the loose term, but why do I frustrated and annoyed watching stuff when I can quite easily scroll by, not even be bothered by?
Uh,
Why do I let it get to me? And I shouldn't. So some of the be nice and let everybody do their thing and be in their own lane is self-reflection for me. And I think from a personal point of view, I just need to let people do their thing, even if I can see their motives. I can see how do I frame it?
intentions.
That their growth isn't entirely naturally crude followings. If you see what I mean. It's very easy to buy followers. It's very easy to inflate your numbers. But when the views or likes and stuff like that don't seem to tally up with how big your channel is, those kind of things really grind my gears, and it shouldn't. And I should go, you know what? You do your thing. I'll stay on the other side and do my thing. And that's a self-reflection thing. And I think that made me a happier person. And so that's my big, get rid of the negativity, not from others, because there are a lot of negative things in the paranormal, as we all know, and we witness online, social media. There's been some horrible stuff happen over the latter end of the year, which we've all been touched by to some extent, in terms of me witnessing it being other people being affected. But I think 2026, I'm going to leave all that behind and stay. Like me and Ash, we have a very diverse posting. We're very diverse on our podcast guests. It's not just paranormal, it's UAP cryptids we speak to. A little clue for last week's episode, reptilian elites that run the world, which is stuff that we haven't spoken about before. So we speak about all sorts of stuff. And I think we pride ourselves in that, but I need to stop judging other people.
Protecting your peace, I think, is the word that you're just going to protect your peace.
Protect my peace. Yeah, protect my peace.
Put your walls up where you need it and just protect your peace.
And scroll by.
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly add something. Go on.
I was going to say, a lot of other people that could do with doing the same. There's a particular channel, I'll tell you offline who they are. She's got a lot of hate. And she could do with just scrolling by. And I think everybody could, if everybody just scrolled by the people that they don't like, everybody would be calmer. So, sorry.
Sort of leaving the negativity behind, bit of the tongue-in-cheek stuff. So 2026, what we're looking forward to, or what we want to see for ourselves or for the paranormal. going forward. Greg's straight in with his hand up.
I would
Go on.
like to see positive growth for all my paranormal friends. So you guys just seeing people grow, not necessarily numbers, but grow as people, opportunities. And I think it's a good, because I've seen the last year where we've been like fully invested in social media, the paranormal, making equipment, testing theories. We up and down the country all the time. We're out doing lives,
Yeah.
just seeing like podcasting. And like I say, Michaela, podcasting is a proper grind. Trying to get guests and doing it on your own, all hats off to you, because that is even more of a grind. But just growth, people growing, that we see the fruits of our labor, people outside of the paranormal, of social media, don't realize how, and I've spoken about it before, people don't realize how much of a grind it is. And I say that in terms of the effort you have to put in to get an episode out, or a live stream, or a social media post, or whatever you're doing. To get that out is like a full-time job. Getting guests for the podcast, nightmare. Trying to find new locations to live stream, trying to come up with different ways of doing stuff, analyzing all the data that's available, which isn't massive. TikTok's been good for that because it's instant and you can see the growth. And if you're doing something wrong and numbers drop off on the live stream, something needs to change or whatever. And I've learned a lot about our growth on TikTok, and like I see that not to get disheartened when for the first half an hour there's only 10 people watching our live, because at an hour mark, I don't know why it is, at an hour mark it ramps up. I don't know why. So it takes a while for our algorithm to get going, and it's just discussing things with people, and I just want to see growth for my friends, and knowing the effort that it takes to even just get to a certain level and doing stuff is effort. So that's me. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble.
Really?
Oh, nice. Who's next?
I don't mind. I'll just add on to the back of what Greg said, is that I agree. I'd like everyone to grow. We've created a little sort of circle in the latter half of this year, that's full of lots of our paranormal friends, and I'd like to see them succeed. Personally, and by personally I mean like twinnies, I would like to see us do more YouTube again. We're trying to pick the YouTube back up. I'd like to get into some more venues we haven't been to. And I personally would like to put into word and do more magazine articles, because I did like two of them in 23, and was it just 23? I did 2 magazine articles and I loved it. And I've got so much I want to say and write about and all of that. I would like to pick that back up again. And I don't know, maybe this is the start of like a book about something. What that is, I don't know. Maybe we can put telephone line theory into a book, Greg. But yeah, I don't know.
Added to
We
the
will
list of
see.
everything else we're going to do.
Exactly. All these things. There's so many things that I want to do. And obviously I want twinnies to grow. And we make no secret of the fact that we would love it to be sustainable, as in it pays for itself. It already kind of does. We book venues off the back of the money we earn off TikTok. But I would like it to be a bit more, to give us a bit more, and for us to grow a bit more. I want to hit that 10K mark. And again, I'm not ashamed to say it. I would love to grow, love to monetize a little bit more. So our hobby that we love doing is sort of self-funded. Who wouldn't love their hobby to be self-funded, really? So, yeah, that's what I would like. Growth all over, really.
Ayla.
Oh, it's going to sound like more of the same now. So to add on to what Greg and Sarah said, all that, and then, yeah, I'd like to. I've been a bit more. I wouldn't say scared, a bit more reluctant with all the social media stuff, just because I'm doing it by myself, which is hard. I'd actually really like to maybe collaborate with somebody this year so that I'm not doing it all myself, although it is hard because it's kind of my baby that I've had for 6 years, and it would be hard to share it. But I'd really like to. I think I've got to a point where I'm just doing the same stuff now. And even though it's really interesting, obviously having the interviews, it might be fun to share that load with somebody and have someone else's perspective. I'd love it to be somebody who lived within an hour of me or something, because it's quite bizarre that ever since I moved down south, all of the paranormal action seems to be up north.
You say that all the
That
time.
feeling.
It is such a long way as well. You know, I'd love to come and see you guys more. I'd love to. What I really want to do is I want to go to more venues, as Sarah said, and I want to. I want to do lives. I want to do YouTube. I want to do TikTok. I want to collaborate with somebody, and I want to be able to. Do you know what I'd really like? I'd like, like the what's it called? The Scooby-Doo machine. What's it called? The mystery machine. I'd like to have a paranormal or what camper van, and I'd like to have some collaborators, and I'd like to kind of not doing what the Haunted Project do, but just being able to get to places, to different venues and do different investigations, instead of being stuck in one little area, which I am at the moment. So I guess if I was to encapsulate all of that, it would be to
Get out more.
Yeah, to collaborate and get out more, and take the podcast more out into the rest of the country.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'd like to do, and see more paranormal people.
I love the
Definitely.
socials that we do. I love Paramete purely for the social side, because I find it's one of the biggest ones where lots of diverse people go. I don't particularly watch all of the talks, admittedly, but I go for the social side. And then we go to the dinner in the evening. And I love that. I love that whole experience. I'm a bit of it's just the social side I go to, but I love the big get-togethers, and there should be more of that.
Yeah.
You don't really tend to
And I
get
really want-
chance with the. Sorry, I was just saying, you don't really get chance with the big conferences that are all cram-packed with speakers. You need it at somewhere like Paramete, where you can go to the bar next door.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, and to go out investigating with other people as well than the people that you normally investigate with. I just think when I've done that in the past, it's been such fun, and it brings a new energy to what you're doing as well,
Yeah.
which is really good. How about you, Ash?
Yeah, for me, I mean, for TikTok and for the podcast, first time this year, me and Greg actually sat down and written a list of goals we what you actually want to achieve this year for the first time. And that's something that so we can actually focus. Because like I said, there's so many things we want to do, so many things I want to do, so many things I've got going on with the UFO stuff as well. I have to really just sort of like concentrate down to a list, and then we'll work off this list rather than doing a million things. I've got 2 documentaries that I'm filming and editing. Going out in March to film a documentary series for a week. Got this second book that I started writing that needs to be out in the next 6 months. We've got obviously all the TikTok stuff, all the podcast stuff. Just trying to, I guess, focus and hit those goals that we've set ourselves. because we grew massively more than we ever thought we would this year. So just carrying on. That and again, the more social thing. I only have a very, very small circle of friends, and know a lot of people online that I've met and talked to a lot online, but never met in person. So it's just more meeting more people, going to more events. I didn't do very much with conferences this year. Just didn't get a chance with work and stuff like that. I have to work a lot of weekends, which doesn't help. Like every other Saturday, pretty much. It's so it's hard to get with because these things are usually at weekends, so I can't always get them off. And then there's no one to really swap my shifts with, so it's hard to even sort of swap my shifts around a lot of the time. So just doing more, the more social things like UFO Identify. You have our monthly meetups that are going to be starting again in Manchester because they're great when we get a lot of people coming. There's like 16, 17 people coming and everyone's chatting and stuff. And I just love that side of stuff. So sort of, building up that social side of things. Again, I think that brings the confidence as well. It's been a big one for me. But yeah, lots to look forward to. And I think we've all
Yeah.
sort of got our sights set on what we want to achieve this year. And I think we will. I think we're all going to smash it. We've all smashed it this year, doing things like we've never done before, talks, doing online talks, stuff like that. And I think looking forward to doing more of the same on that as well. Like me and Greg have got, between us, probably 3 or 4 talks lined up already. And then obviously there'll be more covered throughout the year as things get announced. UK tour of going around and delivering talks and stuff like that. Different UFO groups and different paranormal groups, stuff like that. I've got being lined up. But yeah, so I guess we'll wrap up there. Has anyone's got any last thoughts before
No,
we
not
finish?
really. I was just going to suggest off the back of the social thing, we all need to book ourselves into a big hotel like Bosworth Hall one weekend. We all do 3 nights and we say to everyone in the paranormal, we're all going to go and book this hotel this weekend. We're all going to go out. We're going to go and sit in the bar, or we're going to go in the spa, or we're going to just like we did at festival, but all of us book on the same weekend and do a meet-up. No talkers or anything, no speakers, no paranormal obligation, just a big group of us getting together for the weekend.
Sounds good to me.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, Sarah and Michaela, thank you very much for coming back on the podcast. Greg, as always. Wish you all a great 2026, and we will speak
Thank
very
you.
soon. And we will see you very soon.
Oh,
hopefully.
yes, thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
Right?
Thanks for listening to Pursuit of the Paranormal, title music created by Steve Yarwood and Ambi-Infinity. If you like the show, please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Instagram. And if you really like the show, please rate and review the show wherever you are listening. It really does help. See you next time, and until then, stay weird.